Welcome everyone again to my vlog. I want to talk to you today about the term game. Not game in the context of he got game or she got game and that type of thing, but more along the terms of game as I use in one of my seminars about how life is like a game in the sense that there are rules when you're in a different or new situation or you're confused by something. Always keep in mind that there's a game, meaning that there are rules, there are things that are a list of do's and to-dos that you may not be aware of, but that are in play. And to learn those by, asking for help or observing. However, the point of the seminar is to say that at the end of the day, your goal is not to play that game, right? Understanding it is useful, but playing it is not your game. You may wind up derailing yourself. And this is important because, we live in a world of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, instant information. And a lot of times that information incites emotion, incites a response. It can derail you by having you play a game that you weren't expecting to play, fighting about some topic or getting angry about some issue that, to be perfectly honest, you hadn't thought of or, wasn't driving you until you saw the post, right? And, I don't want anyone to feel like they're wasting their energy and efforts. I mean, how much do you change when you get on Facebook and make a comment about something you disagree with? Because more than likely the people that agree with you already agree with you regardless of the comment, and those who disagree with you are not going to change their mind or feel in any way owned or pwned or whatever the term is by the text of someone whom they probably don't respect to begin with. So, if your game is to write injustice, posting on Facebook isn't going to solve it. What's going to solve it is by staying on your game and doing and following through with your plan that in the end will encourage people to get things done. Let me use an example, like jogging. If you're running down the street and you come to an intersection, all of a sudden the light turns red and a truck pulls into the intersection. You can't cross. You can't, you could get mad at the truck, get mad at the light, but you're wasting your time. The truck is there, the light is red. But your goal is to run, not to fight with a truck, not to get upset at a light, but to run, to get exercise or whatever the reason is for which you run. So you can turn to where the light is green and continue running. You could run in place. You could sing a song. But the point is not to be derailed, or at least not for too long, by these type of things. Another example you might want to use is when you're on Facebook, and I said before, someone posts something and it upsets you, and you say to yourself, oh my goodness, I'm upset, and you comment or respond. I won't say you're not solving anything, because that's not true. Sometimes someone can read something and be inspired. It's something you write. But for the most part, if someone writes something offensive, you respond to it, you will be, they're not going to change their mind. And the people who read your comment, who agree with you, already agreed with you to begin with. There's a way of dealing with that, and I'll be specific. I'll get derailed just for a minute to give you an example of that. A friend, I guess you'd say, someone I've known for 20-something plus years. He's Japanese, and he's in the military, and he posted something, and it was offensive. And I looked at it and said I could do many things. I could unfriend him, I could block him, or maybe I could just tell him what he wrote was wrong, but not in a way that would offend him, not in a way that would make him feel as if he's an idiot or a moron or being attacked. So I posted and said something to the effect of a private message, taking into account, how to respond to people. Didn't want to embarrass him. I responded and said, you're better than that. You can convey your anger at something without referring to terms that are offensive and hurtful. Come on, dude, right? And he changed it. He apologized. He didn't mean to upset. And he realized the word he used was very similar to slurs used about Japanese people. And he didn't change how he probably felt about the people he was angry with, but nonetheless, he changed. The point is, I didn't get derailed. I stayed on my game, right? My game is to touch other people, to influence them, to be the type of person that if someone were to post something about black people, they're bad or whatever, the people that I've touched know that that's not true, right? They've met people who didn't believe that, people who they know aren't like that. That's my game, right? And yelling at somebody isn't going to fix it. Standing up to defend people, that's my game. That's what I had to keep in mind when he wrote something insightful, or when someone tells me something that offends me. I have to realize my game is not to fight them. My game is not to argue. My game is not to get derailed. My game is to change the world, and that is by making people realize and making people learn and inspiring them to say that, you know what, things can be different. And the only way you can do that is giving them an example of the road less traveled, and that's my game. What is your game? You have one, and it's probably an awesome and amazing plan, or maybe a mundane one. It doesn't really matter. As long as it's yours and you stay true to it, you're going to do a lot more good than being derailed and playing someone else's. And usually they're not playing for you to win, but for themselves to win. So go out and have a great game.